Episode 4 Grief Doesn't Come with Instructions. Welcome back to Unfiltered and Off Script. I'm your host, Jason Vaughan, and this is episode 4. Today's episode is different. We're not talking about sports, music, relationships, or whatever argument is taking over the internet. Today we're talking about something we all face, but few people truly feel prepared to handle. Grief. Grief can take many forms. Sometimes grief walks through the front door and announces itself. Other times it slips in quietly and changes the temperature of every room. One of the hardest things about grief is that the world keeps moving. Your phone still rings. Bills still show up. People ask, "How are you doing?" Like there's a simple answer. You still have to eat, sleep, work, and answer messages when your whole life feels like somebody turned the volume down. So today I want to talk honestly about how to deal with grief, not how to erase it, rush through it, or pretend you are okay. I want to talk about how to carry it without letting it carry you away. The first thing you need to understand is this. Grief is not a straight line. People describe grief like it follows a neat set of stages: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. But real grief does not follow a schedule. You can feel peaceful one day and break down the next because a song, a smell, or a grocery store aisle brought everything back. That does not mean you are going backward. It means you are human. Healing is not measured by how many days you go without crying. It is measured by your ability to keep living honestly when sadness returns. Some days you feel strong. Other days you feel numb, angry, guilty for laughing, or unable to cry at all. There is no correct performance for pain. A while back, I went through what I would call one of the quietest losses of my life. There was an older man in my neighborhood named Mr. Ellis. Every morning, he sat outside with the same folding chair, dark blue coffee mug, and little radio playing old soul records. When I was younger, I passed him on my way to school. He never gave long speeches, but he always had one sentence ready for whatever mood I was in. If I looked angry, he would say, "Don't let 5 bad minutes rent the whole day." If I looked tired, he would say, "Rest is part of the work." If I was moving too fast, he would laugh and ask, "You running from something or towards something?" As I got older, I stopped sitting with him as much. Life got busy with plans, deadlines, music, work, and excuses that sounded responsible. One winter morning, I walked past his building and the chair was not there. At first, I thought it was too cold. Then I noticed the radio was gone too. A few days later, somebody told me he had passed away in his sleep. I nodded like I understood. I even said, "Damn, that's crazy," because sometimes your mouth grabs the easiest sentence when your heart has no language yet. It did not hit me until almost 2 weeks later. I was having a rough morning, and I caught myself walking toward the spot where Mr. Ellis used to sit. For a second, my body expected him to be there. I could almost hear the radio and see him lifting that mug, ready to say something simple that would make the day manageable. But the sidewalk was empty. That was the moment the loss became real. I stood there longer than I want to admit. I was grieving him, every conversation I thought I had more time to have, and the version of me that believed certain people would always be waiting in the same place. Life does not warn you before an ordinary moment becomes the last one. For weeks, I kept thinking I should have stopped more. I should have asked more questions. I should have told him how much those little sentences mattered. That is one of grief's favorite weapons: guilt. Guilt takes the love you had for somebody and turns it into a courtroom. You replay the last call, the missed visit, the argument, what you did not say, or the day you were too busy. Regret should teach you, not torture you forever. You made decisions with the time, energy, maturity, and information you had then. You were human before the loss, just like you are human after it. What helped me was doing something small. I bought a dark blue mug, sat near the place where his chair used to be, and wrote down every sentence I remembered. At first, it made me sadder. Eventually, those words stopped feeling like evidence of what I lost and started feeling like proof of what he left behind. That is one way to deal with grief. Give the love somewhere to go. Write a letter, cook their favorite meal, make a playlist, frame a picture, tell the funny story everybody has already heard 100 times. Visit a place that mattered. Create a ritual on their birthday. Speak their name. Moving forward does not require you to erase the past. The second thing is to stop judging your grief by somebody else's grief. One person may return to work because structure helps. Another may need time away. One person may talk constantly while another becomes quiet. Different people survive pain differently. Different does not mean wrong. The important question is not, am I grieving the way people expect? The question is, am I taking care of myself while I grieve? Take care of the basics on purpose. Drink water, eat something, shower, step outside, sleep when you can. Move your body, even for 10 minutes. Grief lives in the body. It can show up as exhaustion, headaches, chest tightness, forgetfulness, irritability, or feeling like your mind is moving through fog. You are not weak because your body is reacting to emotional pain. And distraction is not always denial. Sometimes you need a movie, the gym, music, a video game, or time with friends. You do not have to stare at the wound every minute to prove the loss mattered. Taking a break is not betrayal. Joy and grief can exist in the same room. You can laugh at dinner and cry in the car afterward. You can enjoy a birthday and still wish somebody was there. A new life does not make the old one meaningless. The third thing is to be honest with the people around you. A lot of us say, I'm good, because we do not want to make anybody uncomfortable. But grief gets heavier when you have to perform strength on top of carrying pain. You do not have to tell everybody everything, but find at least one person you can be honest with. Say, I don't need advice. I need you to listen. Or say, today is harder than I expected, and I do not want to be alone. Give people a chance to show up correctly. Some people will rush you, avoid the subject, say something insensitive, or try to fix what cannot be fixed. You are allowed to protect your peace. You do not owe anybody a faster recovery because your sadness makes them uncomfortable. The fourth thing is to stop waiting for closure to arrive like the final scene in a movie. Some losses do not close. They change shape. At first, grief may feel like the only thing in the room. Over time, the room gets bigger as you build routines, relationships, memories, and meaning around it. Acceptance does not mean you approve of what happened. It means you stop fighting the fact that it happened. You may never understand why. You may never get the apology, one last conversation, or an answer that makes the loss feel fair. Peace sometimes begins when you stop demanding that life explain itself before you allow yourself to live again. The fifth thing is to get support when the weight becomes too much. Talking to a therapist, grief counselor, faith leader, or support group is not failure. It means you are taking the pain seriously, especially when family and friends do not know how to help. Professional support gives you a place where you do not have to protect anybody else's feelings. You can say you are angry. You can say you feel guilty. You can say you are tired of everybody asking whether you are okay. You can admit that sometimes you do not even know what you feel. You do not have to organize your pain before asking for help. Before I close, I want to speak directly to the person who thinks they should be over it by now. There is no expiration date on love. You are not broken because a song still gets you. You are not dramatic because anniversaries hurt. Missing the life that changed does not make you ungrateful for the life you have. But you do have a responsibility to yourself. Grief deserves a seat, but it does not get to drive forever. You can carry the memory and still answer new opportunities. You can honor what was and still become what is next. You can miss somebody deeply and still let yourself be loved by the people who are here. Maybe that is the real work of grief, learning that continuing your life is not leaving them behind. You do not have to believe the loss was supposed to happen in order to decide that something meaningful can still grow afterward. So today, give yourself permission to feel what you feel without turning it into your permanent address. Cry when you need to. Rest. Speak when you are ready. Ask for help before you are drowning. Keep the pictures. Tell the stories. Say the name. Take the walk. Make the appointment. And when a good moment finds you, do not punish yourself for enjoying it. That moment is not proof that you forgot. It is proof that grief did not take everything. This has been episode 4 of Unfiltered and Off Script. I'm your host, Jason Vaughan. Be patient with yourself. Check on the strong friend. Sit with somebody without trying to fix them. Sometimes people do not need a speech. They need somebody willing to sit inside the silence with them. Healing does not mean the loss stops mattering. It means the loss no longer gets to decide whether your life still matters. Until next time, stay real, stay present, and keep going. Even if today keep going only means making it through the next hour,